On this episode of How to Cook, or is it an episode or just a video? I don't know how this stuff really works. I'm new here. But what I'm not new at is making great food, and this is one of my favorite things to make. This is an ancient recipe from way back when. I've been making this for, I don't know, 30-something years, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make this shish kebab thing here, because this chicken is incredible. These vegetables, okay, they're a little crispy. Okay, I will grant you they're a little crispy. But I'll show you how to not make them crispy. And they'll be delicious, and this marinade is something special, so you got to stick around to watch this video because you are going to want to eat this. Come on, how beautiful is this? Come on. All right, so you know how it works around here. We got to get started. So there's a lot of prep work with this particular meal. It's about 90% prep work. We're going to start with the veggies. I've got a large red bell pepper here. I cut the core out. I cut it flat-wise, to make it flat like this, and then cut it into about 1-inch squares, roughly something like that. It's just, bite-sized morsels. Don't waste the end. We've got some mushrooms here if you want to use button mushrooms or creminis or anything like that. Just some of the smaller mushrooms, probably. I like to cut the stem off and then just slice these into 3/16 quarter-inch pieces, something like that. I have a zucchini here. We're going to knock off both ends, cut it lengthwise, and then cut it into about quarter-inch pieces. You want everything to be roughly the same size so it cooks at the same rate. We're putting this all into a zip-top bag for marinating. Now we got a red onion, and all you need to do is cut off about 1 inch of the red onion and then quarter that. Don't worry about size on that. It's mostly flavoring. But now we've got our chicken thighs. We've got these all washed. We want to cut these into pieces that are going to cook well. So these are probably 1.5-inch, something like that. It's a little tough to do with chicken thighs because they're inconsistent as far as thickness goes and everything else. Some of your pieces are going to come out naturally thinner and some thicker. Just work with it best you can to get somewhat a convenient size. If you get a really thin piece, you can always fold it in half when you put it on a skewer. And here is the skewer. This is the best thing in the world. This is a cable skewer. You can get this on Amazon. I don't know that that's where I got this from. I've had them forever. But these are fantastic. I prefer these over doing it on like bamboo or the metal skewers. If you want to do them individually so that each one of your guests, your family, whoever's eating, gets their own skewer, you can by all means do that. But this to me is such a time saver. I will never go back the other way. Just load all these onto your cable, get them all the way down there. This is 1.75 pounds of chicken, and it fits on this thing without 1 inch to spare. Look at that. This is going to be so easy. Just loop the end like that, and it's ready to go into a Ziploc bag itself. Then we're going to start on the marinade because that's really the secret to this recipe. But you can see this is so much easier than doing it the other way. So get the cable skewer. They're awesome. And now for the best part of this entire meal, the marinade. I'd like to take credit for coming up with this, but it's a recipe that comes from this ancient parchment brought back from the Middle East during the Crusades. Apparently they were really big on shish kebabs then, and soy sauce was their favorite thing because there's a bunch of it in here. But yeah, seriously, how old is this? This is insane. This is from like a 1960s barbecue book, something. This is a barbecue sauce. That's what it says. Wow. Okay, and there's some weird things on here that we do or don't have these days. So we're going to improvise a bit and make this super yummy because we have better ingredients and that. But this is where this originally comes from. I'm going to walk you through this. There's a lot of pieces in this. Okay, let me set this over here in the vault where we keep all our cherished documents. What do we need in order to make this? First of all, you need a blender. Cannot do this without a blender. Ain't gonna happen. You're making an emulsion. An emulsion is when you take a liquid we have our soy sauce, we have vinegar, we have other things like that, and we are going to suspend them in oil. We have to emulsify the whole thing. You have to do that at very high speeds. If you are an old grandmother who makes aiolis or mayonnaise the old-fashioned way with the spoon and the whole thing, good for you. I don't do that. I have a blender, so I'm going to use that. The technique for making this, is as important as the ingredients, but we'll go over a few of the things real quick. So it takes vinegar. This is a oily, vinegary, herby marinade for this. So we have some red wine vinegar and we have some balsamic vinegar. We need a ½ cup total, so I'm going to split those. We have Worcestershire sauce. You need a ½ cup of this, and you know, it comes in the bottle. Everybody knows what it is. This is 3/4 cup of soy sauce. 3/4 cup of soy sauce. Okay. That's a fair amount of soy sauce, so you kind of get the flavor profile here a little bit. All right, we have oil. This is the oil we're going to be suspending our acids in. This is 1.5 cups. The recipe actually calls for salad oil. They didn't have olive oil back then, so what I usually do is split it half and half. 3/4 each of like just regular vegetable oil plus olive oil. If you won the lottery and want to use olive oil, go for it. But in this, it's just a marinade, so it's not super important as far as that flavor goes. A couple other things that are important here. We have some parsley going in this. I have the fresh parsley sitting still in the fridge. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to get that. A little dry mustard, a little pepper, and the one thing I add to this, a couple things I add to this actually. A little bit of honey, just a tiny bit, maybe, you know, 2 teaspoons, something like that. And I like to put some red pepper flakes in this. If you want to use sriracha, just a few drops of that will give this nice zing to it. And we have garlic. 3 cloves of garlic. It says 2 cloves optional, like if you don't like flavor. So I'm not allergic to flavor, so garlic it is. All right, so how do we start? We take the lid off the blender, as always. Okay, soy sauce is going in. There we go. Perfect. We have Worcestershire sauce. Now, if you're anything like me and you have old measuring cups like this, and you use the scrubby side of the sponge to clean these, the measurements are no longer on the bottom of this, so you kind of have to guesstimate. I underguesstimated. A little bit more Worcestershire sauce. There we go. There's a faint hint of a line on here. So you do that, you're like, yeah, okay, I got it. Boom. All right, so we need a ½ cup of this. So I'm gonna use 1/4 cup of each. How do I know it's a 1/4 cup of each? Because I said so. Okay, red wine vinegar and balsamic vinegar. The recipe actually just calls for wine vinegar. I swear, when my mom used to use this marinade back in the day, she probably just put wine in it. It's the same thing. Is it the same thing? Yeah, many people have the story about how their mother inspired them to cook. And I have that same story, but for a very different reason. Bless her heart, we had a meal on the table every day. Never went hungry, obviously. Look at me. Actually, I was really skinny as a kid because it was like I'm not full, but I couldn't eat anymore. One of those sorts of things. You did your best, and the dog hated us. Dogs don't eat lima beans. They don't do it. Okay. Not that I have to tell anybody out there. Okay, I just don't really measure that. I just go boop, a little bit. That gives it a wonderful flavor in there. Now I need to get a couple other things set up real fast, and then I'll be back here in 1 second. All right, I got the next round of stuff going in here. There's a lot of stuff in this marinade. Okay, so it calls for pepper. Exactly how much? Exactly. I just do this for a minute. There you go. Again, it's a marinade. Exact ingredients are kind of a guideline. All right, so we have some more acid going in this in the form of a juice of a lemon. It's a big lemon. If you have a small lemon, use that. If you have a really small lemon, use 2. Ooh, there's all the seeds. There we go. Works better if it doesn't have all the seeds to try and push through. Okay, there, perfect. Always put your lemon peels down the garbage disposal, but don't tell the next person when they flip on the switch. Scares the hell out of them. It's Awesome. Parsley. I'm just going to tear some off. This is about a tablespoon or so of dry. That is fresh, so we use extra. And if you wrap your parsley, wash it real good and wrap it in a paper towel, it lasts 2 to 3 times longer in the fridge. There you go. Mustard. This is 2 tablespoons of dry mustard. Dear Lord, dear Lord. A lot of dry mustard. You better like the mustard. Okay. Now the one last thing is the red pepper flakes, which I forgot to grab. Hold on. Red pepper flakes. The exact amount? Maybe a teaspoon. There. Okay. That is basically all of our ingredients. I like to give this a whirl first, basically to chop up the garlic and everything else. Okay, that is the worst margarita ever. But a great marinade for our chicken and our vegetables. So we're going to slowly dribble this in here. And I mean slowly dribble this in. This will create volume. It'll whip it into there. You'll get some air in there. You'll get some stuff. This does take probably a good almost minute to get all this in here. We're going to do that on a fairly good speed. And you're not going to be able to hear a thing I say. So I'm going to hit the button. And probably fast forward this because your life is short and you don't need to watch all this. And that is how you make the marinade right there. Now that is still the world's worst margarita. And it's oily now too. All right, so we have our bag of chicken you saw me chop up. I love these flexible cable skewers. Oh my God, you'll see when I cook this how awesome this is. But how neat is it that you can just skewer it, put it in the bag, marinate the whole thing, because otherwise you have to marinate the chicken and then skewer it. No bueno. All right, veggies. These are going in a big grill basket. These are not getting skewered. I cook them separately and then you can arrange them on the plate. This is the easiest way to do this. And again, you'll see that in just a second when this hits the grill. For you, of course, it's like 6 hours to a day and a half for me. That's the minimum time for marinade. All right, so we're going to take our marinade. We're going to split this between the two. Not that really hard to understand. Pretty simple concept. Ooh, she's a beauty. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then we're going to put this in here. That's getting the rest. Now this does taste pretty good when the stuff comes off. So what I'll do, because this only has veggies in it, this has the chicken in it. This one will be used to baste the chicken as it cooks. You'll put a drizzle a little bit on. You'll see that in a second. But the rest of what's in here never gets used again because it's touching raw chicken. This is just touching vegetables. So we can take this, save the extra juice, and put a little bit in the pan, just a tiny bit. You'll see. You'll understand when you see. Okay, that is marinated. Be careful not to poke the rod out through there, but it is a blunt end, so it doesn't want to really kill you. It's nice. It's handy. Actually, I think I have a little left. Yep, a little bit. That is basically that. Okay, these go in the fridge. How long do these go in the fridge? If you can do this overnight, you are going to be rewarded with a delicious meal. If you have to do this today and you don't have these done by noon, you're pushing it. You really want at least 4, 5, 6 hours for this to marinate. It really has to penetrate, especially the vegetables. The vegetables get so much better that zucchini really kind of soaks up a lot of the vinegariness to it. And when it cooks, they're just little flavor bombs that explode. You'll see what I mean in a second. But basically, put this in your fridge. 4 hours minimum. 6 hours is ideal for a short marinade. Overnight is fantastic. I wouldn't go longer than overnight because there's a lot of acid in there. And this is chicken. and it'll start doing funky stuff. So 24 hours is about max. And that's that. All right, let's move on to the next part. I think I'm going to the grill. And now it's time for the fun part. We're going to put this on the grill and get this cooked, which means we're only minutes away from eating. I've got a slotted spoon here called a kitchen majig, and I am getting all of these veggies out of the bag here. You don't want to just dump it because you lose all the marinade, obviously. And when you get that all in there, you have successfully gotten it all in there. Now we're going to take our chicken and put this on here. Now, get the cable and spread it out. It tends to kind of move towards the middle, so you kind of have to spread out a little bit so it cooks more evenly. If it's packed too closely, it won't cook as well. So just arrange it so that it's all the way around. And you obviously don't have to use chicken. You can use beef. You can use other things. Back in the day, 30 years ago, we used to use shark, but now we like sharks, so we don't eat those anymore. That's what the grilled zucchini looks like. They are so good. After about 15 minutes, our chicken is done. If you're using other meats, they'll cook at different temperatures, obviously. And obviously, if you're using some kind of fish or something, don't marinate it overnight. Or you have ceviche. That's a lot of acid in there, folks. All right, so we have some of our marinade that had the chicken in it. We're going to pour that on the chicken and make sure to only pour that on the chicken. Now, the clean marinade that had the veggies in it is going to go onto the veggies and steam out the neighbors. Your neighbors will want to know what you're cooking, so do be prepared to share a bit. This is a very flammable marinade with all that oil in it, so do be careful of flare-ups. Keep some water handy or something else in case your grill catches fire. But yeah, we've got this thing cooking nicely. You can see she's going good. This is about another 10 minutes after we flipped it because it's hot. So we are pulling everything. Vegetables got a little crispier than I wanted because it's a little extra hot. We're going to pull the chicken off, make sure it's not stuck. Grab the thing, and when you get it in the pan, loop the ends because they will tend to fly open, and then that metal hits your hand. Needless to say, that's going to hurt a lot. All right. So everything's off the grill. You can see everything here. We're going to get this plated up, but we've got to get everything off of this cable skewer here. So that is our next trick. The good thing is this is super easy. So I have two tongs. These are punishing. We don't need those. Those are the mean ones. I don't like those. The spring is super, super strong, and that sucks. As you can see here, basically, we have what looks like, it looks like cooked rattlesnake, kind of, doesn't it? So the last couple are stuck on here really good. Once you get these free, the rest of this comes off really easily. And seriously, folks, this is as hard as this is. I know people like to get individual skewers of things, and if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. However, if you're feeding a lot of people, this is the easy way to do that because I'm done with it. That is easy. As you can see here, this is amazing. It's beautiful. All the pieces, oh, so beautifully cooked, ready to go. And that great flavor. You're going to love that marinade. Trust me, this is incredible. Okay, so those tongs go there. Those can go away. We have our veggies now. Okay, and these got a little crispier than they probably should have been. Whoopsie. I guess when it's like 107 degrees outside, the barbecue works a little better than it does when it's like 50. So you got to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't flare up a little bit better. All right, I'm blocking the cameras, I know. I apologize. Yeah, so we weren't going to eat the red onion anyways, which is good because the red onion, for some reason, seems to really want to get crispy. But yeah, here is the extra crispy vegetables. They're really, really crispy. Okay. And you can put a little bit of the extra sauce here if you were careful and kept track of which one was which. Now you know that this is the good one, not the one full of chicken. Just a few dribbles, basically. You don't want too much because that's a lot of vinegar in there. And vinegar isn't the most tasty thing in the world, but it does give a nice little juiciness to this. So now we just got to do is plate this up with some rice, and let's take care of that real quick. All right, so I just steamed up a cup of rice here, and I'm going to put this on the plate, just a little bit to the side. Okay, just a smidge more. There you go. You want it to be pretty, so make sure You really go to town on trying to get that pretty. Nobody cares. Although for the thumbnail, that had better be pretty. Okay, we need some of these veggies, don't we? Yes, we do. These are gorgeous. They're a little crispy, but they're beautiful. Oh, they're so nice. Got all these mushrooms and all this goodness. Oh, I love this meal. I really, really love this meal. Yes, I do. Okay, now we have some chicken going on here. Again, this is about 1.75 pounds of chicken, something like that. So this is a fair amount of chicken. This is going to feed some people. And that right there is shish kebabs. Let me see if I can try and get this in the camera better. That's what that looks like, folks. How bad do you want to eat that right now? I know how bad I want to eat that right now, so I'm going to grab a fork. Oh wait, here's one right here. Yeah, it has rice on it, but big deal. Okay, I'm going for this little piece of chicken, and look at that, the red bell pepper. That's perfect. You have to try this. This is, I doubt you've ever had anything quite like this. This is not, and I repeat, not a traditional shish kebab recipe. That has nothing to do with any sort of Middle Eastern flavors or anything else where shish kebabs would have come from. But it's delicious. It's amazing, and you won't know what that tastes like until you go to the store, get some stuff, and make this yourself. I can't wait till you do, and when you do, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this, because that's a little different than a lot of people have had. So I can't wait to hear the feedback, because I love hearing feedback. Please leave me comments. Love interacting. Oh, this is so good. I still had some in my mouth, sorry. Love interacting with you guys and getting feedback on different things and hearing your experiences with this stuff and what you think of it. So please always leave me a comment. And if you like the video, there's the thumbs up thing down there. You can always hit that. And if you want to see the next one, you better be subscribed and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. And that would be a shame because, come on, folks, that's delicious. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And I want you to eat this. I want you to experience that. So hopefully you will, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video because that'll be a lot of fun. So until then, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.